Welcome to It's a Weird World Out There, where we dive into the intriguing history of duels. From the uncertain origins to the 16th century popularity, dueling has left its mark with a mix of color, tragedy, and a dash of the unexpected. Despite attempts to ban them, duels stuck around for centuries, with the last recorded one in France dating back to 1967. In this episode, we've handpicked 8 noteworthy duels from the annals of history. So, grab a seat and join us as we unravel the stories behind these peculiar showdowns. Bringing an oar to a sword fight. Miyamoto Musashi, an iconic figure in Japanese martial arts history, faced a pivotal moment in 1600 when he suffered defeat, rendering him a masterless samurai, or ronin. This setback served as a catalyst for Musashi's unwavering determination, propelling him to achieve victory in more than 60 subsequent duels. Historical records attest to his exceptional skill and strategic prowess in swordsmanship. One of the most renowned episodes in Musashi's life unfolded during his final match before retirement, where he confronted his formidable rival, Sasaki Kojiro. The stage for this legendary duel was set on the tranquil Japanese island of Ganryujima in 1612, adding an air of mystique to the encounter. Musashi's journey to the duel's location is a testament to his resourcefulness and adaptability. It is widely reported that, on his way to Ganryujima, Musashi crafted a makeshift weapon by carving a wooden sword from an oar. This creative approach to armament showcased Musashi's innovative mindset and ability to adapt to his circumstances. The clash with Kojiro is described in historical accounts as a battle of equals, with Kojiro's blade skills believed to be on par with Musashi's own legendary proficiency. Musashi's victory in this intense duel, achieved through a fatal counterattack with his improvised or turned sword, solidified his status as a master swordsman and strategic genius. In commemorating this historic event, 2 statues were erected, immortalizing the eternal struggle between Musashi and Kojiro. These statues capture the intensity of their battle, complete with the symbolic oar that played a pivotal role in Musashi's triumph. While Musashi's life and duels are celebrated in numerous texts and historical accounts, it's important to acknowledge that some details may be embellished or subject to interpretation over time. Nevertheless, the legacy of Miyamoto Musashi and his ingenious victory over Sasaki Kojiro continue to captivate enthusiasts of martial arts and Japanese history alike. A U.S. President versus the World. Andrew Jackson, the 7th U.S. President and a military hero, was known not only for his leadership but also for his fiery temperament. Engaging in numerous duels throughout his life, some accounts estimating as many as 100, Jackson often found himself defending the honor of his wife, Rachel. Rachel, a frequent target of ridicule and malicious rumors, had endured false accusations of adultery from her abusive first husband, Louis Robards. In 1791, after Rachel believed her divorce from Robards had been finalized, she married Jackson, inadvertently earning the label of a bigamist due to the legal complications. Jackson, fiercely protective of his wife's reputation, faced one of his most notable duels in 1806 when he challenged Charles Dickinson. The duel was sparked by Dickinson's disparaging remarks about Rachel. Charles Dickinson, an accomplished duelist, engaged in a face-off with Jackson. Despite Dickinson's skill, he managed to shoot Jackson in the chest during the exchange. Miraculously, the wound was not fatal, and in a display of remarkable resilience, Jackson returned fire, fatally striking Dickinson. This dramatic duel not only showcased Jackson's unyielding defense of his wife's honor but also highlighted his own tenacity and determination. The incident became a defining chapter in Jackson's life, solidifying his reputation as a man of both military and personal prowess. The tumultuous events surrounding Rachel's reputation and the subsequent duel contributed to the complex legacy of Andrew Jackson, a figure remembered for both his achievements and the controversies that marked his colorful life. The Petticoat Duel. Duels were not exclusive to men, and in 1792, a notable confrontation unfolded between 2 women, Lady Almaria Braddock and Mrs. Elphinstone, highlighting the unconventional nature of such disputes. The catalyst for their duel was a comment made by Mrs. Elphinstone about Lady Braddock's age. According to some accounts, Lady Braddock asserted herself to be under 30, while Mrs. Elphinstone countered, suggesting she was over 60. Seeking to settle their dispute in a rather unconventional manner, the women chose to duel in the esteemed Hyde Park in London. Both parties fired their pistols, but neither shot found its mark. At this point, the duel could have concluded, but instead, the women decided to escalate matters by opting for a duel with swords. The sword duel took an unexpected turn when Mrs. Elphinstone sustained a wound to her arm. It was at this moment that she reconsidered her stance and expressed a willingness to mend fences. Mrs. Elphinstone, acknowledging the gravity of the situation, offered to write a letter of apology, signaling a conclusion to their unique and potentially dangerous encounter. This unusual duel between Lady Almeria Braddock and Mrs. Elphinstone serves as a historical footnote, providing a glimpse into the diverse and often unpredictable ways in which individuals, regardless of gender, sought to address personal conflicts in centuries past. Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr. The relationship between Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr was characterized by a long-standing and bitter animosity. As the former Secretary of the Treasury, Hamilton openly harbored a dislike for Burr, frequently working against his political ambitions. The culmination of their strained association occurred in 1804 during a heated political climate when Hamilton actively campaigned against Burr's bid for the governorship of New York. Tensions escalated when it was reported that Hamilton expressed a despicable opinion of Burr. In response, Burr, who was serving as vice president at the time, issued a challenge to Hamilton for a duel. It's worth noting that despite his personal opposition to the practice of dueling, with the tragic loss of his eldest son in a similar encounter just 3 years prior, Hamilton accepted Burr's challenge. The duel took place in Weehawken, New Jersey, marking a fateful moment in American history. During the confrontation, Hamilton was shot in the abdomen, sustaining a mortal wound. He passed away the following day. Hamilton's untimely death sparked public outrage, and it had profound consequences for Burr's political career. The incident effectively marked the end of Burr's political aspirations, as the duel cast a dark shadow over his reputation and legacy. The Hamilton-Burr duel remains one of the most infamous chapters in American history, underscoring the dangers and consequences associated with the practice of dueling, even among prominent figures in the nation's early years. Infection from a sword wound is a terrible thing. In a bizarre turn of events a century after the infamous Petticoat duel, Princess Pauline Metternich and Countess Kielman-Zegg found themselves embroiled in a heated argument over floral arrangements at a musical exhibition. Unbelievably, the disagreement escalated to the point where the women decided to settle their dispute through a duel, and what made this confrontation particularly unconventional was the fact that they chose to engage in it topless. The rationale behind this unusual choice was rooted in a concern for hygiene. Any clothing pushed into a wound during the duel could potentially lead to infection. Strangely, the potential risk of injury from the swords used in the duel seemed to be overlooked in this peculiar encounter. With women serving as their seconds and Baroness Lubinska presiding over the duel, this event marked what was later described as the first emancipated duel. As the men turned their backs, the topless combatants, Princess Pauline Metternich and Countess Kielman-Zegg, commenced their sword fight. The women both sustained wounds during the duel, and as they cried out, the men attempted to provide aid. However, the situation took an unexpected turn when Baroness Lubinska, rather than allowing the men to intervene, took matters into her own hands. Armed with her umbrella, she beat them back, dismissing them as lustful wretches and questioning the sincerity of their motives. The duel, marked by its unconventional circumstances and the women's determination to resolve their disagreement on their own terms, stands out as a peculiar episode in the history of dueling. The Berserker and the Bard. Ejutal Skallagrímsson, a larger-than-life 10th-century Icelandic skaldic poet, embodied a persona that seamlessly intertwined warrior and wordsmith. The Egil saga, dated around 1220 and translated in the sagas of Icelanders, presents Skallagrímsson as a complex figure, an anti-hero with a penchant for both trading verses and blows. In one particular tale from the saga, Skallagrímsson's legendary persona takes center stage as he faces off against a true villain, a Swedish berserker and malevolent character named Liat the Pale. The narrative unfolds when Skallagrímsson, visiting a friend's family, learns that Liat has challenged a family member named Frigir to a duel to the death. Recognizing Frigir's youth and inexperience, Skallagrímsson seizes the opportunity to intervene. In a daring move, Skallagrímsson baits Liat into redirecting his challenge towards himself. Throughout the duel, Skallagrímsson mocks his adversary with poetic taunts, skillfully pushing Liat to the point of exhaustion. In a climactic moment, using the edge of his sword, Skallagrímsson delivers a decisive blow that separates Liat's leg from his body. The outcome is twofold: Frigir is spared from the impending danger, and Skallagrímsson emerges victorious, having vanquished the brutish Liat. As a result, Skallagrímsson inherits the defeated berserker's property as the spoils of his triumph. This tale encapsulates the duality of Egill Skallagrímsson, his prowess as both a warrior and a poet. The saga paints a vivid picture of a man unafraid to confront true evil, using not only his physical might but also his sharp wit and poetic skill to secure justice and emerge triumphant in the face of danger. Adam Driver and the Last Duel. In the late 1300s, the once close friendship between Jean de Carouges and Jacques Legris took a dark turn, evolving into a bitter enmity. The dramatic tale reached a climax when Marguerite, the wife of de Carouges, accused Legris of raping her. This accusation set in motion a sequence of events that would ultimately lead to a trial by combat, a duel intended to settle the score and seek divine judgment. Following months of investigation and a formal court trial, the two French knights agreed to the unusual resolution of a duel. The terms were as follows: if Legris emerged victorious and slew de Carouges, Marguerite would face execution for her alleged false claim. The stage was set for a high-stakes confrontation that would determine the fate of all involved. The duel unfolded with the combatants facing each other on horseback, adhering to the chivalric traditions of the time. Some historical accounts suggest that Legris drew first blood, but de Carouges, displaying resilience, managed to turn the tide. Despite being knocked to the ground, de Carouges gave Legris several chances to confess, all of which were steadfastly denied. In a final act of determination, de Carouges struck down his adversary with a sword, thereby redeeming both his and his wife's honor. The extraordinary and harrowing events surrounding this duel have been adapted into the 2021 film The Last Duel, where Jodie Comer portrays Marguerite, with Matt Damon and Adam Driver taking on the roles of Jean de Carouges and Jacques Legris, respectively. The film delves into Marguerite's perspective, offering a cinematic exploration of this medieval tale of justice, honor, and the quest for truth. Once upon a time in Mexico. In May 1900, a ball in Mexico became the setting for a dramatic and unexpected turn of events involving Marta Duran, her beau Rafael Riquelme, and another woman at the party, Juana Luna. The romantic tension escalated when Riquelme's attention seemed to linger too often on Juana Luna, leading to a heated argument between the two women. Surprisingly, the dispute took an extraordinary turn when they proposed a duel to settle their differences. The group, including the dueling women and their supporters, decided to travel to Ramita, where the sword combat was to take place. The duel was not a swift affair, lasting through 3 rounds. Both sides exchanged hits, but ultimately, Juana Luna emerged victorious by inflicting injuries on Marta Duran's chest and sword-carrying arm. Following the duel, Marta Duran renounced her connection with Rafael Riquelme, and the severity of her wounds necessitated the intervention of a surgeon. As the need for medical attention arose, the authorities became involved, leading to the arrest of both women and their seconds. In a surprising twist, neither Marta Duran nor Juana Luna remained with Rafael Riquelme in the end. The duel not only resolved their romantic entanglements but also brought legal consequences, showcasing a unique and colorful episode in the social history of duels and the unexpected outcomes that could arise from such confrontations. And there you have it, folks. The world of duels, as we've explored today, takes us on a journey through history's peculiar and unexpected confrontations. From legendary swordsmen and anti-heroes settling scores, to topless duels and romantic disputes in the early 20th century, the tales of these face-offs are as diverse as the reasons that sparked them. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more weird and wonderful stories from around the globe. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the weirdness that makes our world truly unique.